still going off on the ref right now. Aaliyah Boston's still going off. She's snapping on the ref, bro. She's still talking.
Aaliyah Boston, an all-star player, was standing on the court clearly upset and continued arguing with the referee. She usually stays calm, so seeing her react this way showed that something was seriously wrong. With the loud crowd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse making it hard to hear, it was obvious the game had taken a frustrating turn. During this late June 2026 matchup between Indiana and Phoenix, the biggest story was no longer the basketball itself, it was the controversial officiating.
What players are all about. You got 3 Phoenix players around Caitlin Clark, and yeah, it's physical streaking to.
The matchup helps explain why emotions were so high. Phoenix had reached the WNBA Finals the previous season, but entered this June game with a 5-13 record near the bottom of the standings. Indiana, on the other hand, was 10-7 and gaining momentum with Caitlin Clark back in the lineup. From the start, Phoenix focused its defense on Clark, often sending multiple defenders at her whenever she drove to the basket. The strategy appeared to be making every possession as difficult and physical as possible while seeing how much contact the officials would allow. Even with all the controversy, one thing should not be overlooked: the basketball itself was very good. Kelsey Mitchell continued her strong season and averaged 22 points during this series, giving Indiana valuable support alongside Caitlin Clark. On the other side was DeWanna Bonner, who had played for Indiana before leaving the team after the 2025 season when both sides agreed the fit was not right. Now playing for Phoenix alongside her partner, Alyssa Thomas, Bonner returned to face her former team. That history added extra emotion to the matchup, and in the fourth quarter, a physical play involving Clark and Bonner helped spark the controversy that followed.
Official review. We have official review on Raymond Johnson's three-point shot.
So the referees is currently getting booed right now over this.
The game was filled with constant interruptions. It seemed like every few minutes there was another whistle, another referee discussion, another video review, and loud reactions from the crowd. Looking back at the June 22 game, the number of penalties was remarkable. After the confrontation between Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner, the officials reviewed the play and gave technical fouls to 5 players at once: Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, and Myisha Hines-Allen. On the very next possession, Hines-Allen received a second technical foul and was ejected from the game. By the end of the fourth quarter, 6 technical fouls had been called. Although the Fever won 86-77, the tension did not end there. Instead, it carried over into the rematch 2 days later.
Oh yeah, she's definitely flopping on that one. So fans here believe that she's going to get a technical foul. Here we go. Where's Stephanie at? So here's Stephanie. We don't know the outcome yet. It was a dirty play by Alyssa Thomas. She initiated the contact. Oh, it looked like Aaliyah Boston probably is getting attacked. Aaliyah Boston getting attacked. Aaliyah Boston getting attacked. The fans is booing. The fans is booing right now, guys. Aaliyah Boston getting attacked.
The biggest moment of the game came during a loose ball scramble. Many fans and basketball commentators believed Alyssa Thomas made forceful contact with Caitlin Clark's neck and then stepped over her as she got up, but the officials did not call a foul on the play. The reaction online was immediate, with many fans arguing it should have been ruled a flagrant foul and some even calling for an ejection. Others described Thomas as one of the league's most physical players. However, those opinions came from fans and commentators, not from the officials. From Phoenix's perspective, Thomas plays tough, physical basketball within the rules. What everyone agrees on is that the play sparked even more tension and became one of the biggest talking points of the game.
Another foul.
Indiana number 0, Kelsey Mitchell.
Now Kelsey Mitchell's in fifth. Yep, that's 5 on Kelsey.
Shooting for Phoenix, number 11, Alyssa.
The foul calls continued throughout the game. Kelsey Mitchell picked up her 5th foul, putting her in danger of fouling out, and in a close game every whistle became even more important. The frustration was made worse because Caitlin Clark had already spoken publicly about the officiating after the previous game. She said the technical foul she received for clapping after a whistle was ridiculous, and joked that if clapping earns a technical, she might eventually be suspended. The Fever later filed a formal appeal asking the league to remove that technical foul. The situation matters because Clark was tied with Angel Reese for the league lead in technical fouls with 5, and players are automatically suspended for 1 game after receiving 8 technical fouls in a season. So with Mitchell in foul trouble and Clark continuing to argue calls, the tension was about more than emotions, it was also about avoiding future consequences.
Give it to Sophie. Sophie wide open. Sophie wide open. Good job. 104. Don't worry. Kelsey Mitchell just fouled out. Foul.
Late in the game, the ball moved around until Sophie Cunningham was left wide open in the corner, but the flow of the game kept being interrupted by physical contact and complaints to the officials. Looking past the controversy, the statistics show how competitive the game was. On Monday, Caitlin Clark finished with 24 points and 9 assists, while Kelsey Mitchell scored 22 points. Monique Billings recorded 14 points and 10 rebounds for her first double-double of the season. Aaliyah Boston, who had been visibly frustrated with the officials, struggled offensively, scoring just 8 points on 2 of 9 shooting. For Phoenix, Kalia Copper led the team with 20 points, and Alyssa Thomas added 19 points and 9 assists. It was a close game between an Indiana team gaining confidence and a Phoenix team fighting to turn its season around, and that intensity was reflected in the physical style of play.
Entry receiver number 2, Alyssa Allen.
They're so cheating right now, man.
Shooting for Phoenix, number 11, Alyssa.
This is where it's important to separate opinion from fact. Many fans in the arena and people watching the game felt that the officials were favoring Phoenix, but there is no evidence that the WNBA officials intentionally tried to influence the outcome of the game. Poor or inconsistent officiating is not the same as game fixing, and it's important not to confuse the two. What can be said is that the officiating drew enough criticism for Caitlin Clark to publicly question one of her technical fouls, calling it ridiculous, and for the Indiana Fever to file a formal appeal asking the league to remove it. When both the player and the organization publicly challenged the officiating, it helps explain why so many fans were frustrated during the game.
Another consecutive foul with Phoenix having the ball. This is crazy. Crazy work. They are deliberately altering this game.
Another whistle gave Phoenix the ball, and the game continued to become more tense. Looking beyond one game or one controversial call, the biggest issue is player safety. Caitlin Clark missed much of the 2025 season because of injuries, including a right groin strain, and later said returning to play was mentally challenging after pushing her body too hard. Because of that, every hard hit involving her naturally worries fans who do not want to see another long-term injury. At the same time, Alyssa Thomas has built her career on playing tough, physical basketball. She is one of the league's best all-around players and recently reached several major career milestones, showing that her physical style has also been a big part of her success. Clark has also had an outstanding 2026 season, averaging career-best numbers, putting together historic scoring and assist streaks, and becoming one of the leading MVP candidates. However, she is also one of the league's most closely watched players, and her frequent disagreements with officials have left her close to a suspension because of technical fouls. Looking at the standings also provides important context. Phoenix entered the series struggling near the bottom of the league, making claims that games were being intentionally influenced difficult to support. A more reasonable explanation is that these are two competitive teams with existing tension, a former Fever player facing her old team, and a game that became increasingly physical while the officials struggled to keep control. In the end, many fans believed the officiating was inconsistent, but that is different from claiming the game was fixed. The real debate is whether Alyssa Thomas simply played tough, championship-level basketball or whether some of her physical plays crossed the line and deserved stronger penalties. That is a fair discussion, and it is one that will likely continue whenever these two teams meet again.